All right, so uh Star Seed Chosen One channel. Let's go. So the universe and the universal God of the time of Christ's existence failed to put the truth about Jesus's ministry in the history of the gospel. Okay. And they talk about how the gospel was lost and found, and when they found it, it was all torn into pieces, and they could only find pieces of it. Um, you have the Bible, which is interesting, that has a lot of violence in it. Okay, a lot of violence. Okay, a lot of wars with swords and kings and fake queens and fake concubines, and all these people are just nothing but maggots. They're just ghosts that he's moving around and dreaming, playing with. Like, all right, it's like you got a train set and you got some GI Joes, and you walk the GI Joe to the train and put them and sit them on the train, and then you take the control of the train. You got the remote in your hand, and you make the train go around the track, and the train goes around the track over and over again until you hit the switch on the remote control that goes to the train track to stop it. Right? So it's the same thing with this devil God. He had every capability to make sure that all of the books that the kids get in school, at kindergarten and first grade and second grade and third grade and fourth grade, in elementary, all educated and spoke about Jesus's gospel of Mother Nature's flow. This is the gospel that truly got Jesus in trouble with the universe. Why the universe rejected Jesus. Do you wonder why they rejected Jesus? They say because he said he's God, but that's not what it is. Okay. The whole story doesn't make any sense. I read myself that God defended Jesus and spoke from heaven and told the people that this is his approved son to listen to him. So why wouldn't the people listen to him if God told them to? God don't have to tell the people anything. The people do what God wants them to do. So that was a bullshit. Okay? So although he spoke from heaven and you could hear a big voice tell the people this, he made the people go against Jesus anyway to try to trick the universe like he did the right thing. Like the people did it. Like the universe is gonna believe that. The universe know what you did, you stupid ass nigga. So this is what this God did, this Most High, this Jehovah. Okay, I'm definitely gonna confront Elohim and the Most High about Jesus and my father, who recently been put in a dream of death with no fear, because you ain't. If you killed my father, you would definitely ain't shit. Okay, you got niggas running around here smoking Newports, 2 packs a day, and ain't nothing wrong with that. My father didn't even smoke weed or Newports, so how he gonna die when he was The nigga look young, as same age as me. He look young, healthy, thin, healthy, young, could run, could, I mean, he could move around just like he was 18. He looked like he's 18 as far as his body. Okay, he could move like he was 18. He wasn't old and way down, and so how did you put him in a dream of death? Well, because you put a false ghost in him, and then you had the false ghost cause him to be ill. Okay, now Jesus, when Jesus was on earth, he told the people, his main thing he was always saying was, do not kill the animals and eat them. He told the people this as their father, their true father, Adam. He told the people, do not kill the animals and slay them and cut them with no pain. There was no such thing as painkiller back then. So imagine the pain that the people are causing the animal. Nobody cares about pain when it's an animal. But when it's the time for somebody to come cut your neck off, now you know what pain is. Now you got something to say. Now you don't agree with that decision. But when I say something about the animal's pain, everybody else, they want to roll up their lips and act like that's not important. But if it's time for them to get shoved up, they got something to say. They don't want that. See how people are? It ain't shit. So Jesus told the people the reason why they couldn't live forever is because they were eating dead animals and killing. They were eating dead animals and killing animals. Now, at this time, every person who Jesus knew was hunting animals with no painkiller, putting the animals in pain 2-3 times a day to eat, which is the bizarrest, weirdest thing nowadays. But back then, this was okay. This was what it was. You go out, you get up, and you go with your spear or your blade, a beat up ass blade. It ain't like they got like good knives like they do now. These are rough ass blades that they sharpen with. Other blades are sharpened with a stone on the ground. Real ghetto. No air condition, no heater. A fireplace was some burnt trees. You lighting a fire. They didn't have matches back then or a lighter. How was they making a fire to make heat? They didn't have no heat. Imagine having no heat. Come on, man. What kind of God is this? The nigga should have had heat and all that, and from the beginning, these people suffered. Their day-to-day life was just suffering, basically. They had no laundromat. They had no hospital. They had no vitamins in a bottle. None of that shit. They didn't have no CVS. None of that. Understand this. All they had was nature. But it was better back then than it is now. Still. You could feel the paradise better than you felt just happy to be alive. You didn't need money. You just happy to, the only thing that was making it hell was that the universe and God wasn't producing any good food for the people. They had to go and get fruit from off the trees and get potatoes from out of the plant fields and out of the vineyards and the farms. God wasn't making anything for them. He was giving them manna, which is basically oatmeal. which is disgusting because they didn't have sugar. All they had was honey, and it was hard to get honey because you had to get it out of the beehive. It wasn't in a jar. You understand? The people had no God from the beginning, no creation. Why wasn't the creative creating all this stuff back then? God had already been in existence 4,000 years at this point and had slavery for 400 years. So why didn't he create any jars for the honey? He had been here 4,000 years. This to prove to you that the people created everything that's in the supermarket. The honey, the syrup, the cereal, the heater, the microwave. The people created all that shit. They made the origin create this. They made the universe, caused the origin to create everything that's in Star Market and in Walmart and BJ's. The people, not nobody else, not the Most High, not Jehovah. He didn't create nothing because you see, he had 4,000 years to create stuff for the people, and the people who had nothing but manna from him, manna, and they complained about that. And then they couldn't find decent food in the wilderness when he was taking them on these fake trips to paradise. Time and time again, God promised land of milk and honey paradise. Back then, 2,000 years ago, it never came. When Jesus came, he promised that the results of Jesus coming would bring paradise. It still didn't come. Jesus brought change and paradise to the best he could, but this God still went over what Jesus did and made it still. He put bad stuff in Jesus' paradise. If it wasn't for this other God, it would be paradise. Okay. And it is paradise for the most part. I'm looking outside. I don't see nobody getting stabbed and shot. It's pretty peaceful and nothing happened all day. So Jesus did pretty good. I can walk out there and without the burner and walk around and ain't nobody gonna do shit. But back in the day, 90s, 80s, it wasn't like that. You couldn't get caught slipping. You had to have a burner on you if you went off your street or you was bound to get murdered. Okay. You couldn't go in nobody else's neighborhood with, a King's hat on. Los Angeles hockey team, King's hat. If you had that on in Phil's Corner, it could get you killed. If you had that on in Dudley, it could get you killed because the Interville and Humboldt gangs, they wore a different hat. Okay. Maybe the Steelers or maybe Chicago Bulls or whatever hat they was wearing. I can't remember what they was wearing. But Norfolk Kings was wearing Magic, and then Los Angeles Kings hockey team, the black and gray. Then Corbett had a certain kind of hat from some baseball team. And then Interville, Castlegate, and Humboldt, all of them had certain kind of hat that they were wearing. Okay. Certain kind of baseball team. And if you didn't have that kind of hat on and you had another kind of hat from another set, they would jump you and try to kill you. It wouldn't be just shooting you back then. They would back then, if you went to another hood and you walked through Interville with a Norfolk Kings hat on, you would get approached by one of the Interville gang members. They would say, "Where you from?" And I mean, if you don't say the right thing, if they don't know you, like from you got to say, "I got family around here," and if you know a certain person, oh, you know Duke, oh, okay, they don't care if you got a King's hat on. It's who you knew, and they, oh, you fam, oh, that's you, fam, okay, yeah. But if you said, like, if you don't have a good answer for them and you got a Norfolk Kings hat on, then they thinking you coming from this other set to ride on them to spy on them or to disrespect. I mean, even if you ain't starting no trouble, you just them seeing you, they would like come out to be one, and then they be 10 of them, and they have their Cardinals baseball cap on. Okay, lost St. Louis Cardinals. You know what I'm saying? And let's say that's Interville, and they would jump you, you know, and stab you, and like that, beat you up, kick you, stab you till you was dead or thought you was dead. They didn't all back then. They wasn't gonna pop you like that. It wasn't quick to shoot nobody. They would beat you up to and if you was a fiend that owed them money, they would beat you up too. I used to walk over dead fiends, base heads, many mornings when I was on my way to Manville going to school. So I seen a lot of stuff, and Manville was a school for the mentally challenged, but it wasn't a school for special needs. It was just school for like, so it was regular people, it was regular normal there, but they had people it was like for kids who were they was normal, but they just had like certain kind of mental mental problems. But yeah, so the gospel of Jesus was supposed to be preached, was supposed to be passed on, and they was supposed to be said in the gospel that Jesus was telling the people not to eat the dead animals and that they shouldn't be killing them and eating them. That means, I told you, everybody was eating dead animals at that time. And that's not normal. Okay? It's not normal. Okay? I ain't crazy. This motherfucking God is crazy. Okay? See, they try to send Black Jesus to a school for mentally challenged to try to, because they already had planned, they knew he was going to come with the truth, so they try to make him like he's crazy, so that when he tell the truth about this prior God, that they could say he's bipolar, he don't know what he's talking about. So that's displaying that, because I mean, this the kid don't have no God came in disguise like he was mentally ill or crazy, but he's not mentally ill. He's the most brilliant man in existence. So that just fixed that. So you don't try to get it twisted, nigga. Nigga, the kid's smart. Now, so God can become anything. And God became a man who, was a lyricist and was a talented artist, not only in music, but in a lot of other things. And God come in secret. But Jesus came and revealed himself the first time and did miracles in front of everybody to show his love. And, to people, did they love him? Did they pretend to love him? Were they real? Whatever the case may be, the gospel that is in today does not say anything about Jesus talking about the animals talking about him resurrecting animals, talking about him wanting the animals to be free from captivity, talking about he wanting the people not to, telling the people, warning the people not to eat and partake from death and not to kill the animals. How many people listened to Jesus back then? I can tell you, zero. Okay. Did Jesus' mother, his brothers listen to him? Probably not, because this was normal tradition of how you ate. So everybody was going out, getting dead animals, killing animals, and with no painkiller, putting the animal in a lot of pain, cutting off their neck in broad daylight, watching them bleed, cutting out their guts, taking their goods, their meat, their muscles, and cooking it as meat, stealing protein from God's children, which are the birds and all kind of other animals, rabbits. These are all God's children. So if you ate from them, clean up your shit promptly and don't do it again as soon as you hear this, because it's not a game. God is sneaky. He might not say nothing for 60 years and then he gonna creep on your ass. Okay? If you want, the key to happiness is doing what I do. Eat the right thing. Okay? Don't eat from any death. Now, Jesus told, that was his main gospel. That's what he preached. He preached that the animals are not going to die, should not be killed. And, Pilate and all of them shouldn't be killing animals. And, but this was, these aliens that appear to be humans, they were the ones inside of Pilate and the Roman soldiers who caused this rule and who were making these people do this. Also, the God before them, the God of that time, the universal God, he's the one who really was behind the people killing the animals. Why was he doing this? That proves that he didn't create the animals. God created the animals, but someone else from another planet, I guess that's Jehovah, Elohim, who was making the people kill the animals. Why do they eat the flesh? Why does these aliens, these demons, why do you want to eat animals for? It doesn't make any sense. That proves you these are aliens. Humans don't eat animals. So people were not people back then. They were aliens that were inside of the human's body. Okay. They were monsters from another planet, from outer space, inside of the human's body. That's why they went after Jesus like that. And these monsters had ability to dream wicked dreams, because of this the brain of the universe was wicked and it gave them this power. Okay. So Adam and Eve were violated by some monster aliens, which were from the mind and the brain of the universe that's wicked. It may be from the Alpha and Omega. You don't know. The Alpha and Omega could created Jesus and created the devil, God, and created the man Jesus and try to play with you. You can't trust none of them, from the true God to the fake God. It's all bullshit. If Jesus' gospel did not state that he ordered Pilate and all the people not to kill the animals and not to eat them, and that's not in today's text, that proves you that there was no true God back then, and there's no true God to this day, except for the person who speaks this truth. Get it? Okay, got it. Now, I'm going to do 5 more of these in the next couple days, and we're going to really turn up the juice on this nigga. Now, my songs, I apologize for, like, I've been putting songs through and mixing them up and speeding them down and speeding them up to make them sound a certain way, but because I had recorded them so many times and mixed them down too many times, they were coming out when the treble was overriding the voice. So I'm taking those off, and they came out messed up. So don't even listen to them. And now I got some other songs that sound a lot better that I'll have to slow them down and put them on there, and that sound decent. So I apologize for sending those wrecked up songs because they sound fine on my phone, but when they go through to YouTube, you can't hear the voice. You can hear the voice on my mix, but when the YouTube, they takes the quality from it. I noticed that. Even with the documentaries, they sound brighter and clearer and better on the record. But when after YouTube publishes it and it becomes your product to sell, when you publish something, YouTube automatically, once you put something on YouTube, it publishes it for you. It processes it and then it publishes it. And then now you have a CDL, you have a DBA, you have a LLC, you have the right to make money from this published creation. But after they publish it and download it, the sound quality is hindered. So that's why it came out like that. So I apologize. But yeah, Jesus asked them to stop killing animals, and they didn't put that in the text. Tupac talked about how the Bible need to be renewed and revived. He's tired of reading that old King James. The old King James don't have nothing about Jesus, talking about the animals, how he was trying to resurrect them and couldn't, how he resurrected them. They only one movie, no book. They show him resurrecting a bird, and I can't find that movie no more. But they never have it in the book that he resurrected a bird that I remember. It might be in one of the books. But why isn't it in the Bible? Why isn't Jesus resurrecting a bird one of the stories that's on any of the, they always got the same old healings. He healed the blind. They show the same thing. So basically, they try to use Jesus as a marquee to implement that this is God's power when that's not God's power. This is a man who the universe did miracles through because he had love, period. This is not from God. Because you see he don't do it no more, right? Okay, that proves to you that only a man did these miracles of God. And before that and after that, there ain't been nobody else that had the love that God is supposed to have. That's all it is. Ain't no God. You have a man who had love. And because he had love and he loved the people like they supposed to be loved, they'd say he's God. Well, if he's God, then why the fuck he doing the same thing now? And been doing it all this time. Put it together. So, that's that. And the dreams from, like I told you, I grew up in a time where they had Bloods and Crips in LA, and then you had they try to bring that shit to Boston and New York, but up in Boston, New York, you had gangs that wore different baseball teams. The hat, which was expensive, and the throwback, okay, the shirt that went with the baseball shirt that went with the hat. We would wear that, and they would wear that, and with some shell toes or some top 10 Adidas. So everything was Run DMC. That was gangster. If you dress like Run DMC or Raw Bass, that was gangster's dress, and you had the pistol in your waist and a beeper. Before cell phones, we had a beeper, 2 or 3 beepers on our waist to get calls for the plays, for the work, and for the weight, for the little, you know, and when you break down, to talk more about the weight, when you break down the 8-ball, you pay 100 for it, just to show my daughters and my sons just how it works if they don't know. When you get an 8-ball, you break it down, you pay 100 for it. Okay, hopefully 150. But the more you pay for it, the more money you're gonna make off it. You should, if you truly get a real 8-ball from a real dealer, you should be able to profit at least double your money. If you pay 100 for 8-ball, you should make 250, 300, at least 200, at least double your money. If you don't get that, if you can't take your 8-ball of powder or your 8-ball of hard and break it down and cut it up and make enough 20s to where you made over at least $200, then you have to take that back, because anytime you buy weight, and weight begins with an 8-ball and up, a 50 and 20 and a dime is not weight, but an 8-ball is. That's a G pack, and then a quarter ounce is weight. Okay, half a pound, that's weight. A pound, that's weight. A half a pound is a junior to a pound. The pound is the highest weight that you can get weed. That's a lot of weed. That's $1,000 worth of weed, $2,000 worth of weed, and you're supposed to make $4,000 from that $2,000. If you buy a pound for $1,000, you should make at least $2,000 from that. That's how it used to be. So you always profit from your purchase. Okay, so and you know, you got quarters and halves and pounds and trades, and they got all kind of names for them out of state. But I want you to understand the breakdown of the weight, and what it is. You have the 8-ball, the smallest weight you can get, $100. Then anything up, you got, that's 2 ounces, 2 8-balls. And then you got half a key. You got a half a pound of crack or whatever. And, you get 10 ounces of crack. Okay. Then you got, a lot of crack, and you should be able to, that's 10 8-balls. So you can call that, whatever. But, it's different markets for that shit, and different, parties to buy that shit, and different distributors for that shit. But so that breaks down the different, prices, and the different how it works. So you're supposed to profit off of anything that you buy. If you buy a quarter pound of weed, you're supposed to profit from that. Okay. Now the quarter pound of weed is $350. So if you should make 600, 7. Okay. So you're always supposed to get more than what you bought. You're always supposed to profit. When you buy it in bulk like that, you're supposed to profit from it. If you pay $3.50 and get a quarter pound of weed, and then you only make back $3.50, then they didn't bag it up right. You shouldn't buy it because you're not making, you're only making back what you bought, so there's no need to buy it. Okay, that's what I'm trying to say. It's the same thing with cocaine and crack. Okay, if you buy a lot of crack, one, you know, 1/10 of a key, or a half a key, 1/10 of the half a key, then you should double your money at what you make. 3/10 of a half of a key, then you should make, a profit, because you spend 3,000 on some cocaine, you should make 6. So that's the thing you gotta understand. That's how it works. Just so you know. But now those days are over, and it's just disgusting and old, played out system that needs to be changed now. Instead of selling these plants, and we're gonna start selling. People gonna start getting paid to heal one another, and people gonna start getting paid by God to do acts of love. Like, you can go take somebody a gift, go take them a microwave, or take them a little miniature refrigerator, and then once you do 5 acts of love, God will give you the money to do this. People start getting checks in the mail every day for a couple $100, $300, and God's gonna give you a list of people that He wants you to do acts of love through that week. Once you're done doing acts of love to these 5 people, 10 people, God will give you a check for 5,000 every week. He's gonna pay you to do acts of love, and He's gonna pay you to do miracles for family members and for friends. I mean, if they are in pain, get hurt, you can heal them instantly. He's not going to break somebody's leg so you can heal that. He's not going to put somebody in deep pain so you can heal it, like they used to try to do. It'll be something minor. They have a headache, you can touch their head, and they can say to you, "Oh, my head don't hurt no more." That's enough. Their stomach ache, you touch their stomach. "Oh, my stomach don't hurt no more." That's what humans really need to act like humans. Once you start treating the humans the way they're supposed to be treated, then they won't be swearing and cussing and running around here hitting people.